It's always easy to be smart in hindsight, but when you look at this couple's soap opera of body language throughout their marriage and before their marriage, there were so many clues there, even starting with this really dramatic footage that was done during their engagement interview.
What about the proposal, Your Royal Highness? How did that come about?
Well, I asked Diana before she went to Australia.
It was very interesting at the time that A, they were standing up, and B, that Diana was actually pressed against Charles. And I know that's not groundbreaking by modern standards, but I remember that developed a lot of the R factor there. They look really close. Then, however, we get to the worst moment, which is the very end. It was genuinely toe-curling as a moment.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
Well, it
put your own interpretation.
Obviously means two very happy people.
Yes.
Once again, congratulations.
Well, from us, congratulations.
Her face falls immediately. The open misery in her face and disappointment as she hears the phrase that no bride-to-be would ever want to hear.
It was here, on the banks of the River Dee at Balmoral, that the Princess was spotted fishing with Prince Charles last September.
Charles did look like a man in love at this point, I have to say. He was using a lot of what's called suppressed smiling, which is often a sign that you're enjoying yourself, that you're with somebody that you love. But Diana was looking totally smitten. If you look at her body language, he's kind of standing there and chatting to the press. She's leaning into him. She looks up like a little puppy. She looks up absolutely adoringly. She nestles her head in. It's almost as though she knows how to do romance. She looks utterly smitten. This is probably about the most romantic that they got.
The world sees your partnership, Prince and Princess of Wales, as a unique job. But what do you think the nature of your job really is?
This was very interesting because they were doing the big celebrity thing that celebrities never get right, which is proving that we are still a happy couple. The fact that people have got to do that always makes it very difficult, and the rumours never go away. And I think it was pretty safe to say that the marriage had broken down by then. But she does keep looking at him quite a lot, so they face check one another quite a lot. If you really, really can't stand the sight of one another, it's very difficult, even in an interview, to suddenly turn around and use eye contact, because often that's where the hate begins to show. It's almost as though she's trying to make him laugh, which she does do. She cracks a few jokes. It's a much more evenly balanced looking relationship in terms of status signals. The thing that they were never very good at was the end of the interview. And at the end, you suddenly see this complete disconnect from him. He turns away slightly. He starts to do that cuff fiddle that he's so famous for. And again, that creates a barrier from her. But at that point, that's the point when she just turns around and looks at him, almost pleading eyes. And she said afterwards that she did not want the marriage to break down at that point. She didn't want to get a divorce. If you were a marriage therapist, you'd probably think there's still something going on there that you could, embers that could perhaps be reignited. But right at the end, it's as though, no, he's done with it. And that's the point when she turned, and you can see the kind of last chance longing in her eyes.